Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Network. I am here outside the courtroom where a case will be heard at 2 o'clock Eastern today. Hopefully a ruling will come down on the lawsuit that's been filed in New York court that overall is trying to get Democrats who were registered Democrats but randomly changed to independent, Republican, not affiliate, get them to be allowed to vote. I'm going to do this kind of gangster style. I have two of the attorneys on the case with me, so I'm going to flip the camera to them, and hopefully we can get both of you in. Yes, we can. So I have Blair and Jonathan, who are both, which law firm are you from?
With Clark and Fellows. It's our law firm.
Clark and Fellows. Now, the lawsuit today, I just want to make clear for people who are Bernie Sanders supporters or just supporters of voting. This is not, it's unlikely that it will be a traditional open primary. What is the goal of the lawsuit, and what are you hoping for?
Well, one of the things we want is the open primary. That's unlikely to be granted, but the major issue, and the one that we're going to really focus on with the judge, is that if you have been erroneously stricken from the voter rolls, which over 100,000 people in Brooklyn alone have been stricken from the voter rolls, that your vote is going to actually be counted this time. So what the mechanism is usually the Board of Elections takes your provisional ballot, checks it against the voter rolls. If it doesn't match, they throw it out. What we're asking for is that your vote stay counted until the Board of Elections can actually show that you're not a registered Democrat. So it's a modest thing that we're asking for, but we'll see if it gets granted.
And guys, tell me if you're hearing sound all right. Thumbs up. You could hear the sound. It's a little windy out here, so that would be helpful. Now, if the ruling comes in your favor today, would people be able to go? Most people started out going this morning, but after work, what have you, how would they vote? Through provisional ballot?
Well, they should vote for regular ballot if they're on the rolls. If they're not, do not let yourself get turned away. Ask for a provisional ballot, an affidavit ballot. You can even ask to talk to a judge and to get an order permitting you to vote. Now, the ironic thing is the Attorney General, the New York State Attorney General, is coming down to defend this case for New York State. However, if you have a problem at the voting booth, you're supposed to call the New York State Attorney General. So there's some conflicts of interest going on here that we're also dealing with. But regardless of that fact, if you are a registered Democrat, go down and vote. And if they don't allow you to vote, tell them you want an affidavit ballot. It's your right to do it.
And turning to Blair, just so people know, voting fraud is talked about all over the country. There's not much evidence of it, but people who go down with a provisional ballot, it would be voter fraud if they don't have a real belief that they are legitimately registered Democrats who are switched. So if you're an independent or a Republican who just wants a chance to vote, you should not go and sign an affidavit saying you're a registered Democrat.
Well, certainly not. I think if you sign the affidavit and you are under the assumption that you are a Democrat, which most of you probably are, because a lot of people have been purged and stricken off the rolls, our suggestion is that you go down, vote provisional, tell all your friends, tell everyone to get out the vote. We are fighting for your vote to count. As far as independents, if independents want to go down and vote, as attorneys, we cannot suggest that. In one of our reliefs requested, we are asking for an open primary. However, we do not think that the judge is going to grant that specific form of relief. Our lawsuit is alleging constitutional violations according to the National Voters' Rights Act and New York election law, and we are going to ask that Democrats who are in fact Democrats who have been purged, their votes be counted.
And just so we know, because a lot of people don't know what purged means, what is the purge? What is the possibilities for people who are registered Democrats? All of a sudden they go online or what have you, and it shows up as there's something else.
Right. Now, see, that's the complicated thing, and that's the hard thing with New York election law. And Blair can actually speak to that better. But there are a whole set of mechanisms by which the Board of Elections can throw you off the voter rolls. We believe a lot of those reasons are illegitimate. But if they do throw you off the voter rolls, they're not allowed to do it 90 days before an election, and they have to keep a record of it and actually notify you. I don't believe that they've actually complied with this. I believe that right now they're doing unconstitutional things with the people registered to vote. So what the Board of Elections essentially has done in Brooklyn is thrown 100,000 people off the voter rolls without any sort of notice or without any reason. And when Mayor Bill de Blasio asked the Brooklyn Board of Election, why have you done this, they haven't been able to give a reason, saying we haven't really updated in about a year. So it's clear that something has gone wrong. They're not in compliance with the constitutional requirements. So I think Blair can say...
Well, as to be more specific, New York election law requires that local boards of election update their voter rolls once a month and then keep a record of the purged voters in alphabetical order or on a readily accessible computer database. So we are going to ask the judge to take the provisional ballots of our alleged Democrats and to have them go to the purged voter rolls and see if they were in fact on the purged voter rolls list. Additionally, the National Voters' Rights Act, which is an act enacted by Bill Clinton in 1993 to address this voter suppression issue, says that you need to be in compliance, all the states need to be in compliance, and you cannot purge voters 90 days before an election, and all boards of election have to have records of purged voters for 2 years. So we are going to ask the judge to address this issue with the Board of Elections and have them go through the databases, and hopefully those provisional ballots will be counted.
Right.
And for tonight, if the judge rules in your favor, in Arizona, I saw videos of clerks telling people their provisional ballots to be counted. The majority of them didn't.
Right.
What assurances would people have that provisional ballots would be counted for the results tonight?
Right. Well, as it stands right now, the provisional ballots, unless you're on the voter rolls, will not be counted. So we're no different than Arizona at this moment. If we have an actual court order, what we're going to request is that instead of in a dark room, the Board of Elections throwing your vote out, the Board of Elections is going to have to come in to a hearing and show why this vote is not counted, which I think is within compliance with due process, which we don't have right now. So, I mean, the assurance that if you go out and vote right now is that we will try to get you a court order making sure your vote is counted, unlike in Arizona. And hopefully New York State can show that we can do it.
And if the ruling will be doled out, in between 2 and 3 o'clock, is that too late since people already started voting this morning, or people who voted this morning on provisional ballots, those will be counted?
So we're working with a group, Election Justice USA, which is a fabulous group. We have about 7 or 8 members. We all came together after the disastrous Arizona primary trying to come up with a solution. And this wonderful group has collected 300 individuals within a matter of days who have been disenfranchised. So the judge right now has 15 sworn affidavits and 250 unsworn affidavits, which will be considered evidence, which indicated that voters have been purged. And on top of that, we have Bill de Blasio statements of the voter purges in Brooklyn in staggering numbers.
Yeah, but I think the question was, will the 2 o'clock judgment be adequate? And it will, because I mean they're going to be counting the ballots into the night and over the next week. So if the court issues a ruling today, it'll definitely help. I mean, yesterday when we initially put this in, we were asking for an open election. That would have been great if they could have granted it for today. And it would have been even better so people would know to go to the polls. I just don't. We've already had stories of people being turned away at polls.
Election Justice USA is receiving stories every hour, and we probably have about 150 people who've been turned away at this point, according to Shyla Nelson, one of our members.
And just so I'm clear, because I'm getting a lot of hate on Twitter and all this, that I'm just a Bernie bot, and
Right.
that we're just trying to help Bernie. This is not just young people who are likely to vote Bernie who have been purged. This is a mix of all ages. It's not exclusive that the Election Justice USA or your law firm is fighting for Bernie. This is an issue across all ages.
Absolutely. I mean, we have Republicans on this also. There's sworn affidavits from Republicans. This is not just a Democrat-Republican thing. This is really, we don't know if it's incompetence on the part of the Board of Elections or willful. At this point, it looks like incompetence, which is just as bad and is just as deleterious to the democratic process. But we welcome Republicans or Democrats. If you want to sign on to the lawsuit, if you want to tell us your story, we want to hear it. This is about democracy. It's not about partisanship.
And what time do you expect the ruling to be issued?
I believe around 3 o'clock.
Okay. And my last question is, If this is ruled in your favor, is this a template for other states? Because I've been hearing reports in California, similar things happening, Delaware. What should other states do?
Yeah, we were talking with Shyla Nelson from Election Justice USA, and she said that we couldn't get on Arizona fast enough, but now New York, we got a wedge in the door, and this should serve as a model which should happen going across the entire country. I mean, this was hard to get in front of because there was so many affidavits coming in all at once, but hopefully now that we see that this can be done, or hopefully this will be done here, and we can learn from this and we can pursue it in California and other states.
And a shameless plug, you're running for Congress?
Yes, I'm running for the 3rd Congressional District in New York.
What's your full first and last name?
Jonathan Clark.
Okay, so how can people find out about your campaign?
They can go to my website, Clark for Congress. It's better to look me up on Facebook. Actually, Blair, who's my campaign manager, she knows the social media aspect of it better.
Right, Clark for Congress, and Jonathan's personal Facebook page, Jonathan Clark. We regularly update posts on Bernie, and we're huge Bernie supporters. And Jonathan openly endorsed Bernie in January, and he is going against 4 other Democrats in a primary on June 28th. 2 of them are Hillary delegates, and the other 2 are Hillary supporters. And we are championing for Bernie Sanders, and we hope he can take the win tonight.
But again, this isn't just a lawsuit for Bernie. This is a lawsuit for all voters.
Bernie is not named in this lawsuit at all. Our lawsuit is all constitutional violations according to the National Voters' Rights Act and violations of New York election law.
Yeah, I mean, you have to sort of understand that a lot of people that are reporting this because they're on social media, so they tend to be younger. But we've had reports of older people that are Hillary supporters that fit her demographic too. So it's not just isolated to Bernie Sanders. Absolutely not. Or Democrat.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
I'll stay in the loop with you.